Before we dive into growth as students and systems, I would love to take a step back. What's your background and what led you into the world of online education?
Sure. My background's in exercise physiology, actually. So I was in rehabilitation. I started off helping children and adults with learning problems, actually, and developed lots of centers of excellence in those types of areas over the period of 8 to 10 years through my early 20s. And that was very interesting. It taught me how to grow a business, how to open new centers, how to train. So I guess education has always been very, very strong part of what I do and what I enjoy doing. I was very, very fortunate enough to meet Dick Van Dam, who's the owner of online education back in 2006, which he'd started online education. And what I liked about the business that he was looking to grow and develop was that you could grow a business without huge amounts of operational overhead. So whenever I would set up a new center of excellence in, say, a new place in Melbourne, for example, you would have to go there, have a premise, train doctors, specialists, rehab specialists, machinery. There's quite a lot of operational overhead. What I liked with an education model, you could, in theory, scale an education model globally without huge operational overhead. So that's what I initially liked about the model. And yeah, it's been an interesting journey since 2006. We've grown significantly. We have more than 138 different websites around the world. We've had more than 225,000 students go through our courses. It's been an interesting journey. We've even got into different languages. So we have a multilingual platform with we support 9 different languages. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey.
Oh, and you are leading online education. You just mentioned that you have over 225,000 students globally.
Since inception, yeah, since 2006.
But behind scale comes fresh struggles, especially around student acquisition and retention. Today, I would love to unpack what really works and what most educators get wrong. So, what was harder than expected about acquiring students?
Interesting. So I think it's been a very, very convoluted journey the last 15, 20 years. And I think most e-commerce businesses would be saying the same sort of things, where back in 2006, I think our challenges were convincing users that it's okay to put your credit card online and purchase education, and that we were legitimate and we had wonderful teachers and wonderful faculty, and we developed incredible, even from the start, incredible technology to support a student's journey. So it's all more around sort of convincing at the start, that we are legitimate and we are a really good sort of competitor to face-to-face traditional learning. I think nowadays online education and e-learning as a whole, people are convinced that it is a great model. They love the idea of it being in your own time and at your own pace. You can start at any time and all those things. Now it's more around how do we market and get the brand out there. We relied heavily initially on Google Ads, which was pretty easy and straightforward once upon a time back in the early sort of 2000s. Pay an amount of money based on a CPC competitiveness, you would get a click. Based on conversion rate, you get as many enrollments as you can, and that allowed us to scale very quickly. So we literally could open up a new Google account in the UK and start a nutrition course in the UK, right? These days it's not that straightforward, but it's a lot more competitive than it used to be. I think COVID was amazing for a business like ours, where you had lots of people at home. One of our biggest courses, interior design, everybody wanted to look after their house and improve their house through COVID. So we had, double the amount of enrollments through the period of COVID. But what it's done is it's accelerated digitization of other learning organizations, of which most were face to face. You're talking here in Australia, TAFEs universities, and that's on a global scale. So now the competitiveness is out of control. Therefore, if you look at the Google model of competitiveness for a cost per click and the acquisition, our acquisition costs have tripled since sort of the COVID period. It's very, very hard to market it the way we used to market business. So now we're diversifying heavily, and then we've got social media, and then social media is the same sort of thing. It's not a straightforward linear relationship where you throw money at it and converts. It's a lot more convoluted than that. And of course, now recently you layer AI on top of that, and you layer the larger language models, ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, Perplexity, etc. It's a really, really interesting time, not just for e-learning business like ours, but all businesses globally, because what we're doing today, I'm not sure it's going to work in 3, 4, 5 years time when it comes to student acquisition. So we're heavily investing now into obviously SEO. We've always invested into quality SEO, but nowadays, AI, SEO, and trying to make sure that we're future proof with regards to getting as much organic traffic to our websites as we can. We're heavily focusing on that. But again, even the way I think people consume the internet and consume digital content is changing in front of my eyes. And even the way I'm consuming digital content is changing. Where once upon a time, you'd use Google to find the website, then you go to the website, and you nowadays you're not even jumping on a website. You're doing all the research at sort of the AI tools level. So it's a very, very interesting time for the world. I think the next 5 years is going to be very interesting to see where that goes. And I think it's going to make student acquisition for us even harder. But we're trying to, like I said, be ahead of the curve and invest as much energy and resource into really good quality content through our website, so that we can obviously be sort of the forefront of what the AI tools are going to be delivering to potential students.
And it's focused now about energy, because I think donors is one side, but also to sit down with the teams and make a digital marketing plan. If it's going to be an omni-channel, which in the past 5 years, I think I always believe in testing and continuous improvement and testing and getting the data and then testing different angles or creatives. If this is SEO, if this is now it's going to be Zing. The user experience has to be very well loved. That's what I believe. And so the user feels supported in all stages, so they feel trust, and they can make the final decision of the purchase. And then there is a different journey after the course, how to support them to finish the course. But it's interesting, acquisition has changed. AI challenges businesses on how they can best use tools without throwing all tools. So what I believe the teams inside an organization, they don't feel, everything is too much. You have something that has worked, but a big part of the new has come now in. And it needs a lot of energy to digest the new tools, to understand. For me, the most important in business is just to understand what tools do you need on top of your existing tool. Everybody's feeling that they're missing out. There's something that I could do or help my staff, just save them time and being supported by technology.
Yeah, I think the topic that you said around data, like I'm a big believer in data. A friend of mine once said to me, "You believe in God, but the rest just needs to bring data." I think data is the most important thing. And for me, even at the moment when I'm doing A/B tests or looking at data, it's even harder these days for attribution modeling. I think even now with AI tools, and once upon a time you get click-through rates. The tools aren't as clean cut. So it's even like when you're talking about diverting spend into certain areas, it's getting harder and harder. There are so many touch points. We did some analysis on some of our student journeys when we were talking about the marketing side of the business. So many touch points. They would click on a Google ad. They would then click on an email marketing campaign. They would then send an email, contact us. Then they would see us on social media 15 times. They'd click another ad. Like the attribution modeling in that. And now you've got AI where there's not even potentially there's like a zero click. They're not even clicking on anything. So you can't even, often you don't even measure that. I think, in the future, one of the difficulties for businesses is going to be, and I know it is already for most businesses, attribution and how you can funnel the amount of resource. Like you said, it's not even about the money side. It's also about, building content and, a lot of even our own business right now, we're utilizing the AI tools to build content for the AI tools. Sometimes I wonder, you're just building content for the hell of content, right? There needs to be quality content, and it's resource heavy, so it doesn't come at a zero cost. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where the world goes in the future, because if everyone just builds content on content on content, it's like, yeah, the UX for the student journey is going to be interesting. But yeah, that's from the acquisition perspective. And then of course we've got the student journey and retention. We do invest a lot into trying to create the best working environment for our students, where we create all of our own technology. So our websites, our student sites, like our LMS, our learning management systems, even all of our administrative, where our tutors and our faculty work hand in hand with our students. That's all proprietary built. So we're investing a lot at the moment into building new systems to, again, be a little bit more ahead of the AI tool, AI curve, and create an even better student experience. Because I'm a bit of a believer in, you create a really nice wow experience, and the students will come. So we're even investing heavily into that at the moment, because yeah, being in an online environment, motivating students can be cumbersome. So we're just working on that at the moment.
It's that emotional design, which is my expertise. And about UX, when I used to teach also UX, it's about creating that seamless experience. So there is not extra clicks and what you want. Everything is pre-designed for you in a sense that it feels natural. As long as you have mapped out correctly the journey and you have the right knowledge, but emotions, we're talking about machines, so the computers and AI, you said about creating content for the machines. One side, and creating for humans, the emotional design is the most important thing. And it's the only thing that keeps us connected.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So that's a different approach. I think from the universities and the campaigns you see in Australia, in the US, when I was in the US, it's a little bit different, louder, a bit different, because there is so much competition in everything, and their attitude, philosophy of life is a little bit different. But for Europeans and Australia, the Australians, I think there's a beautiful approach around education.
Yeah, look, I'm very proud of, I think, our education system. And obviously here in Australia, we're a registered training organisation, so we're part of the regulatory body. Sometimes that can be painful, but I do think that it does ensure quality education. And I think that we do have a quality education setup. Sure, it's not perfect, but I do think we do have a good education setup here in Australia. It's also attainable for a lot of Australians, where there are parts of the world where you wouldn't be able to afford to study, where I think in Australia we do well. We do a good job of making it affordable with some of the government subsidies that are available.